Hey, hey, hey. Oh, thank God the microphone works. I caught it this time. A few times I've tried to get on and like, no sound. Really annoying. Anyway, welcome to the Scorpio channel. I haven't been on in a few days. So, for those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura. And for those of you that are, the watchers, thank you. I appreciate you. So I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio, but know that energy is fluid. So roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I do look at everything, but I really like to dive deep within the readings. And the reason why is because a lot of times we just don't understand why everything looks the way that it does. Why are we connected to someone that makes us feel bad? Why did a person come into our life? Like, we might know that that person makes us feel certain things, but we're like, is there a way to balance out this connection? There's nothing worse than when your head and your heart are fighting. It's you stay in a constant state of imbalance, really, and that's what these karmic relationships do. So a lot of times the answer is not just yes or no. It's like, well, I thought that you didn't want me to talk to this person, but I didn't talk to this person. The answer is not yes or no. It's understanding why. Again, things are playing out, and understanding what you contribute to the imbalances in the experience will lead you to understanding what are the core beliefs. See, we manifest all the time through what we think and the emotions that we create. We're just not conscious of what we're creating. So when we go through a traumatizing experience that leaves an imprint on our subconscious mind, we're actually manifesting like fragments of that experience over and over and over and over in our lives. It comes out in the other relationships, which is what really makes us perceive that we're something that we're not. See, again, if you to really understand who you are, you're at the energy of unconditional love. Do you know how powerful that is? It's the energy of the universe. I mean, you might be like, oh, like, what is that? It's the energy of God. I mean, what do you think of when you think of God? It's like, if some people don't believe in God, well, it's this all-knowing of consciousness. You become supernatural, and really, you're down here to know that you're not, to learn that you're not separate from this unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe, which allows you to manifest anything that you want. But then you're like at home and you're saying, well, my life does not look like everything I want. And so it's understanding why, and really going back to a lot of the experiences of childhood will allow you to understand why, because it's the imprint of the experience. And the imprint is not just, a logical and psychological thing. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. It's a feeling that it becomes, we hold it within our body. And over time, it blocks the energy from flowing. And what is the energy? Energy is the oxygen that we breathe. Again, the universe. So the universe's job wants to work through us to be able to create. So we can actually become supernatural. However, like I said, if we have these spiritual blocks, we become the perceptions of who we think we are and not really who we are. So it's a bigger thing. So obviously the readings have a therapy style to them. And I never know how I'm going to start the reading off, to be honest. I just kind of jump on here and I let spirit take over, because otherwise I get too much anxiety. I'm one of those people that will get in my own way. You know what I'm saying? Like, overthink it. I don't want to overthink it. I want to just go with it. So I never know. But maybe there's a nugget of what I said that is going to help us see things differently. And really, what is healing? Seeing a different perception of your situation. A block is I'm blocked, and seeing, that I'm stuck in a limitation version of myself, one that keeps me feeling lack limited, not enough, not good enough, anything that is derived from fear. So the word of the video is selfishness. This is the underlining energy. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you gotta like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. And the word of the video is the energy of, why everyone's doing what they're doing. So I feel like you're tapped into this person and you're saying, and you're pissed off. And you're pissed off because you're like, I feel like you're saying, like, you're just so selfish. See, the more time a person stays in separation because they want to teach you a lesson, the more time you have to reflect. And so there's this energy of, that you see that this person is really selfish, that you're connected to. And so I don't really feel like you're doing anything. So let's see what actually happened in your situation. When we see that a person is selfish, they're obviously on a lower vibration. So that means the character is going to be lower. So let's see. This person doesn't it's like they didn't know what they wanted. That's when they met you, they didn't really know. See, not knowing what to do, feeling like, and part of this is because they haven't figured out their own life. They're lost within their own life. So they're lost within their own life. They meet you, they're attracted to you, there's a connection to you. However, it's like this person doesn't feel strong within themselves. And I feel like you're someone that actually comes across as if you're strong within yourself. Maybe, again, you love your job, you're comfortable, like, without dating. Like, there's a sense of, that you're not codependent. This person, like, didn't want you to get that close. So I feel like they would, whenever you tried to create any type of intimacy, they would get triggered. And then, this self-righteous energy, which is, almost like an arrogance. And so the person created a facade to make you perceive that they really didn't care. But I feel like the selfishness is this person doesn't really want to heal. They know that they have a connection to you, but they don't mind having it one-sided. And it would be one-sided because this person hasn't created enough of themselves. Like, there's no identity. The person's lost. If you get up every day and you just work a job that you don't really like, there's no real purpose, then what happens is you drink too much, you do things outside of you to create the dopamine hits that we need. We need to have a certain amount of serotonin to feel good. So what happens is that if we're not generating anything through emotional connections or through creating ourselves, then what happens? Then the person, again, has an imbalance, and their imbalances, they look for that fulfillment outside of themselves. So this person met you, and I feel like you're someone, again, that gives the appearance that you're stronger than you are. And maybe like I said, maybe you really are strong, but the appearance of confidence. And I feel like it triggered this person because, a person will know what they can get away with in a relationship. They like when a person is, a little bit needy. I don't feel like you're needy. So understand the person really had a hard time letting go of the past and the fears that are associated with it. So they manifest always in chaos in the person's relationship. And it's because they're already coming into the relationship looking for a problem. So we see a person that doesn't have an identity and then tries to get love outside of themselves, has this intense connection to you, but they're not really confident in who they are to have a normal type of connection. A normal type of connection is just an equal give and take reciprocity. It's one where a person is actually mindful of the other person. It's not where the person needs to go off and get serotonin hits every other second because they don't have a purpose. They don't have direction. And so, like I said, the chaos in relationships is the fact that they like one-sided relationships. No one wants to take care of someone like that, and so that doesn't really feel fulfilled, because understand, they'll only know how to have passion with you for a certain amount of time, and then because the relationship is codependent. If you don't have an identity where you're participating in other areas of life, then you're expecting your partner to do too much. And so the thing is, then what happens, it affects the passion, which is that second chakra, which is a person's individuality, which is who they think that they are, which again, this person feels defective. However, they're not going to create the persona that they feel like they're defective. They're going to be self righteous. They're going to overcompensate for the lack that they feel. So, does this person know what's going on? No. You might even be like, well, why the hell do I want to know this shit? But because then you could say, well, you're dealing with someone that actually is wounded, and this is what the wound is. But you always want to know why you attract who you attract into your life, because the universe is talking to you too, saying, well, the pot ain't just black over there, darling. The pot's also black on your stove. So spirit saying, because you wouldn't have attracted that person. So there's always something to learn. That's why we're here on earth, to evolve back into the energy of unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe. Supernatural energy. It's the universal panacea. It's the magic pill. It's what heals everything. However, that's not what's happening over here. What's happened over here is this person, I feel like, holds a lot of resentment, but I also feel like being in a connection with them, what happens is everyone winds up angry. This person's angry, so hurt people. So I feel like what winds up happening is like you don't say anything right away. I feel like you made a lot of excuses for this person. So it's like I feel like I have held too much resentment within this connection, and it's manifesting into conflict. And it's because you're not emotionally getting what you need. But how can you emotionally get what you need from somebody that can't even do it for themselves? Is the whole point. Now, should we ask if they're ever going to? Because a person can affect somebody else. Soulmates affect other people. That's what they do. It's like the connection is unconditional love. We wouldn't be affected by the person, we wouldn't care. So, again, did you influence this person? Is this person influenced? Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to still know how to react, but they'll at least be on the healing path, or they'll might be curious about what type of relationship this was. Everything is, again, for a relationship, when you see that someone doesn't know who they are, it's again, it's to help them, it's to heal them. So it's again that feeling of, well, I feel like the relationship is deep. It is deep. It's like it's profound when someone comes into your life and they change your life through, again, just that feeling, especially a person like this that doesn't love themselves and actually feels love. And we can see lives from a lower consciousness, which is, again, I'm out there trying to get my serotonin hit, so I'm not really caring about you. I don't care. I'm selfish. It's like, because I don't really believe I can have love, so I have to steal it, you know, but really it's because of their lack. And me, again, you are someone that doesn't give off that. So these feelings overwhelm me and I become afraid. Sometimes I run away from you because of it. That was flipped over, which, again, to feel love. If a person has to feel love, it means they have to go inside. It makes you think. And if they have a lot of wounding from, again, the family that they grew up in and just the other experiences, because if you grew up in a wounded family and you haven't healed, well, unfortunately, that the karmic themes continue to play out until you heal and do the work or learn, or somebody that just happens to reflect a lot and is mindful. I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. And that's what I'm telling you. And that will always be as long as the person doesn't know who they are. So there is a feeling of lack. So, but this is good because, they probably wouldn't have even looked at their behavior if you didn't affect them. If there wasn't love, they're considering it. They're considering it, which they know the spirit part of self is saying, you don't have what it takes. You don't have what it takes. And they know that they don't have what it takes. But do they know that they can have what it takes? Oh, yeah. They know. But will they be lazy? Is it comfortable? And that's when a person, doesn't know who they are and they stay in this place of victimization. That's really what it comes down to. So the universe is always going to bring people and things to try and get this person to rise back up to their, their energy of unconditional love. They're blocked. They don't love themselves. So it's, again, they're looking at their behavior. But they wouldn't look at their behavior if it wasn't for you. And the spirit says, thank God, like the job is done. Like, okay, next mission. It's like, because this person was selfish. They weren't looking at anything, how they were treating anybody. We have past life connection. Memories are surfacing either consciously or subconsciously. So it doesn't logically make sense to this person. Again, spirit has to be sneaky because the person's in survival mind. So it's like, well, you're not going to understand it. So there's a knowing, but the connection is deep and it scares them because it's, again, rejection. If they know they're not really good enough for you, they know that they're not going to be able to hold to a certain level, you're only going to not stay with them. And this person has abandonment issues, but understand abandonment comes from abandoning yourself. After you have moved out of your parents' home, you have to show up for yourself. This person hasn't. So again, the universe is trying to say, hey, like, buddy, you lost this person in a past lifetime. Let's bring in some memories, like to jolt you, to get you to move, to make you think, to make you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind. The planets are activating us to heal and bring us closer together, surrender to the changes. So again, there's an inner knowing, and I don't know whether they think, the planets are aligned. I don't think that they think that. I think what they're saying is it's like almost like their wall is starting to come down. The belief that maybe, again, that there's actually something bigger and something more than their little brain knows, because a person that's selfish, well, they're, tunnel vision. They're not healed. So, hey, that there's something much bigger to love and you can't control it. This isn't about just getting in the sack. This is about going deep. Our destiny is calling, preparing us, are underway to take the next step. So again, whether that's just to be like for this person to actually come in to your life, but I feel like they know that it's a significance. Like you hold the significance. And again, it doesn't logically make sense. It's more like, again, felt. It's a claircognizance thing. It's like, I don't know how I know that. I just know. And that happens when you got a soulmate past life connection, that there's an ESP connection, which is a clairsentient, which is, I can feel you. I see your head in my face. So I know that you're thinking about me. Well, it's, again, it doesn't logically make sense. We're talking about the psychic mind, the spiritual mind. So this is, again, because that's God, the universe's language, because the universe is like, yeah, I don't know if you notice, but this person really, they're a little handicapped in this area. So we have to, come into play, because no one is supposed to feel like they're non-deserving of love. No one's supposed to cut themselves off from love. We're all deserving of love. And so again, Spirit's saying, it's like, you're not seeing anything because the universe is involved right now. The person is like accessing memories because the universe is like, again, trying to get involved. So you may think that, it's just coincidence. No, Spirit says you're down there to learn. Everything is a co-creation process with the universe, everything. So that's why you have to be careful of subconsciously what you think, okay? But this person was not. They were selfish. So Spirit says you have to be mindful. And so, because otherwise you'll just recreate the same experiences, which is why this person is like, it doesn't really work out. It never works out. So, everyone's full of shit. So, I'm not even going to try. And everybody's different, but now they feel something different. It doesn't mean that they're like, oh, this is so easy. No, they'll have to look at themselves and dive deep. And that's again, understand this just slipped over. I've never felt love like this before. The depth of it, it can be inspiring, but it's also very overwhelming. And this and understand it's overwhelming because of the insecurities that they have about themselves. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to project their shit. I mean, they would, and that would trigger you. You would be like especially right now. That's why Spirit said if this person was around you right now, it's like it wouldn't really be good. It's like because understand the inner guidance is clear, but the ego is resisting it right now, and that's because the universe is changing their mind and their heart, and that's they don't want to do it. They don't want to because I already lived a lot of bad experiences. Again, they put too much focus on the relationship. They don't know who they are, and that's really again we see codependency. Like you can't come into a relationship and act all self-righteous and then all of a sudden be needy on the same token. It's like you got to be balanced and that means this person like I feel like goes from one relationship to another or just doesn't go in relationships. So because of one experience. So that wall is starting to come down, but it's still very much there. Because so what it'll look like is today I really like you a lot and I can really see myself with you. And tomorrow it's like, I'm so glad that I'm not with you because XYZ. It's again, it depends on perception. And the person has to get to a place where they miss you enough, where again, Spirit says they'll never be able to control love. Understand that. I always win, the universe says. We might play tug of war for a little while because, again, the person has a big ego, but I always win. So they're going to tire themselves out eventually. Their ego is eventually going to come down. I might have to do a few other things, Spirit says, to mess this person up, to get their ego to come down. Because it's not so much that, oh, he gets to be with me, but Spirit says, I'm utilizing you and along with everything else that's happening in this person's life to help them evolve back into the energy of unconditional love. That's what happens over time if we've built up enough karma, negative karma, and the person is like, I really want to change. A lot of times it takes a person to have to come to their knees to change, and they want it. So they have to have the synchronicities and that and all that magic. And they understand they don't believe in magic. They're in the reptilian mind, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like, and because you can't logic it, the universe says it's a different language and they already know. But that knowing you feel deep and you feel within your heart and you feel within your gut, and it makes the person overthink. That's what it looks like. Like the person's like, too much thought, too much emotion, overstimulation. Again, because the person is like brings up how good am I? Really? But this person says, but it does amaze me when we think the same thing, or we can like finish each other's sentences, or we both like just have this inner knowing. This again, they can't explain it. So, this person feels like comfortability. Oh wow, that's cool. Hey Kim. This fell. We incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodline. So really, what it is that at this point you both inherited, you know, karma from your ancestors, and that's the way that you think, and it's what you believe that you can have, and all that. And so, spirit's saying it's like, but it's very similar. You both were kind of brought up similar, and so you both form similar, like, blocks. And so there really again needs to be unconditional love, because those blocks are, shadows and parts of yourself that you reject, that you don't like, because you're like, well, what is this? It doesn't work proper, because I would be making more money, because it would look like this, because it would do this, because it would do that. And that's a logical analytical mind. But spirit says, would you ever say that to a child, that the way that they draw is wrong, or the way that they find themselves is wrong? No, you would never say that to a child. So it's, again, you need to treat yourself like a child. Go back to that energy where you allow yourself. This person, like you said, that, like, there's both fear, both you and this person hold on to spiritual blocks that are prevent you from having the abundance and the love that you deserve, because that's really what it is. Because there's a knowing on a subconscious level and an intuitive level, but this person is not in their higher self, they're more in the ego, because of everything. And on top of it, well, it's they're having to clear what they were taught that they could have. So if they grew up in a divorce, a horrible relationship, they watched their parent, or they only had one parent, they never embodied that energy. See, when you grow up with a loving family, you're embodying that energy, because you're part of it. It's one of equal give and take reciprocity. So you know what to look for. And you also then don't need to, like, worry about the support. You're able to create yourself. If there's trauma, which obviously with this person there was trauma, then they weren't creating themselves. They were in the survival mind. So the survival mind will make us perceive that we're inadequate, because what's there are the habits and the behaviorisms that were built when the person was in the survival mind, which is not the creative mind, the intuitive mind, the supernatural mind, the higher self. Again, the creative self. But it's not always good to be in the creative self. Take it from someone that knows, because you need to have ground, you need to have structure, you need to have. So again, what we're seeing is that this person is too much left, right? Too much logic, too much analytical, too much factual, too much is what I see is what I know is what I believe, the facts. And so again, the spiritual level, they never took it serious. They're taking it serious now, but it's, again, there's a resistance, because it's almost like a different language, and it also makes this person have to feel, and they don't like to do that. Our hearts are connected. Take a moment, close your eyes, and feel the connection. So again, it's not that they don't know who you are. It's that this person is like, do I have what it takes? Is this just going to be another flipping, I better not say, a flipping bad relationship. It's like what everything has been. That's what I can, that's what happens for me, due to all the past bad relationship, that it always plays out as chaos. And so that will always happen as long as this person doesn't create themselves. So, like I said, please send me energetic support. Use a frequency of love to uplift me, because I need your help. Like, will you even, so also what this person is fighting is not just, will I be good enough, but will you even want me? Do you even want me? I don't even know if you really want me. And maybe because this person really hasn't given you that much, your mind has been preoccupied with other things. And remember, ESP is through the heart and mind. And so that transcends. So they feel the connection maybe like weakening a little bit. So even though they say, I can still feel you in my heart, it's like, I need you to show me something. So maybe it's again, they're like, maybe I'll always have that connection to you, but you won't act on it. And it's like, you're like, well, I'm not going to act on shit because you're like selfish. I need for you. It's not all about you. And but understand this person's like, I don't want to be rejected because I know that I'm not good enough right now. And so again, it's almost like, how do I know this person's almost like, should I do the work and better myself? Wait a minute, let me see if you're still even gonna like me. Are you gonna like me? Because I don't know whether I want to even do this work. I'm gonna do this work if you're gonna be with me, which again, what you see is people that they don't love themselves enough to do it unless there's somebody there that they admire, that they want to be with. And that's kind of like the energy there, that the person like won't even show up for themselves. They'll do it for you because they're like, again, that feeling. I'm trying to understand how my thoughts create my reality. I know I need to stay positive for you. So again, this person, it is pushing them to learn more about, to be more mindful, to not be as selfish, because like I said, they were not, they didn't care. So what we see again is just a lot of healing, just a lot of reflection, just to let our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing our program is a necessary part of opening our hearts. So spirit's like, you guys are like, I feel like twin flames, but nothing is happening right now. And nothing, and spirit says, and nothing's going to happen for a little while because right now there's need to be clearing karmic programs. And it's first to understand that it's, you know, it's all inherited at this point. So it's like, it's who you both would think that you are. It's like, no, I'm telling you, it doesn't work. It's like that part in spirit says, no, that's not, I don't make broken stuff. You're putting your shirt on like a pair of pants again. That's not the way it goes. Do something else. It's like I'm doing something else, but it doesn't work. And so spirit says again that you guys have a block, an area. But I have to like heal you to a certain point, and that happens in separation, so that you actually can be good enough to go into a twin flame connection. And the twin flame connection is, I want to heal. Like this person like won't do it unless like you're there. But eventually, when they begin to do the healing, they will want to do it for themselves. That's the whole thing. We don't stay in a place, the universe says, and at this point, it's like this person needs to be able to do it on their own, to want that for themselves before they get into a connection with you. Because it's almost like I don't believe that it can happen, so why try? You know what I mean? And spirit says it wouldn't work with you. And you need to heal certain things with you. Again, maybe codependent. We're going to see what those things are, because that's what spirit's saying. So what you're feeling is, I feel like I am connected to this person, but they're not in my life. They're not doing anything. And spirit says, no, they're not, because they're in healing. The universe had to get involved. They're too much. They're too much in their masculine energy. Like there's not, it's all about them. You know what I mean? The survival mind. So the spirit saying, I have to like work on this person. It's like, and you got to be working on yourself, and I'm helping you there too. That there's things happening right now. You guys are healing. You guys are becoming better versions of yourself in separation, where you're learning that there's still this unconditional love, which obviously you both weren't taught that love was unconditional. You both were taught that love was conditional. So spirit says, I have to put you in separation. See, you got no control over this. It's like you want to control the whole thing. You want to think that should look a certain way. You want to say, again, make judgment. What you'll know is the energy will always be the same. No matter what you look at it, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, until you both come to a place of surrender. And that's if you both grew up in a place, well, I was taught not to trust. I was taught not to trust, like the at a very young age. So there's, like I said, that block needs to be reconditioned. You know, anger needs to be released. That's again from the root chakra. And again, what you see when a person has a lot of anger, they're lazy. And that's what it'll look like anyway. And the reason why is because too much thought, too much emotion creates overstimulation. Person doesn't know what to do. So, they don't do anything. So they have to get to a place of finally just surrendering. And in that surrender, the universe is able to then, bring those subconscious dreams, into and work on this person, not while they're awake, but in their dream state. Because again, they would, not want to, they don't want to heal. They don't know whether they have what it takes. So it's, again, that's a cop out. It's like, I don't know if I want to do this. It's like, you're going to expect me to, you got expectations. It's easier just to be with the lower hanging fruit. They don't have expectations. Like conformity, like you said, they're used to people just conforming. And I believe that in this person tends to, like, again, conform in a relationship. So it's either one way or the other with them. Like, they're, again, no balance. So, they're in their healing mode. But when we look at the hidden truths about how they emotionally really feel, you just saw that. You don't know how hard it was to let you go. It's like, so again, knowing, again, that not letting the connection get that deep. Because again, you'd only reject me. And so if you really knew who I was. So just like ghosting you and walking away from you, Spirit says, well, how well did that go for you? And they're like, well, it didn't go because I'm still thinking about this person. Spirit says, exactly. Love. You have no control. You see, no expectation, no ownership. It just is. So again, you can't shake it. So you're going to try and look and replace that person. This person is in their ego. Of course, they tried to do that. But guess what? Spirit says, you're just wasting time. There's only one of that person. It's like, and you're going to compare. This person may think they, like, when they met you, they were just too young. That's for some of you. I know I was a distraction from your pain. They feel like, again, that they knew that the connection was so intense. But again, maybe you were not in a happy place in your life when you met them. So, like, knowing that they were a distraction because I feel like that they didn't give anything. I bury myself in work to forget you. So again, we know that they're still in their ego, but they also know that they're trying to control it. So, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing like they're still, like, again, but saying like they know who you are. I mean, this person knows that, I think on an emotional level, you were the best thing in this person's life. And that's, again, so in separation. So what it is that this person is still in their ego. And I think that they don't really know what they're going to do, but it's almost like they're in control. And that control is like, I'm not going to cave, but eventually person will always cave. Spirit says, I'll always get that. It's like, I want to let my guard down with you, but fear makes me, again, lash out or shut down. So the person wants it. I know I have hurt you. I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me someday and understand I was reacting from fear. So what we see again, more insecurity, more. So this is why this person isn't coming towards you. This person tends to get stuck in their patterns. I'm like waiting to see. I need you to trust me and believe I am working towards a union with you. So again, maybe from a higher perspective, they do know that it's like they're in a place where they need to heal. That like that's what's happening right now. So I don't think whether they know whether they're coming or going. But what I do know is that while in separation, they're healing. Now that doesn't mean that you're supposed to wait for this person. But if you were wondering why this person wasn't coming back into your life, that's really the reason why. Because they know I don't have enough of my own identity. In order for me to be happy in a relationship, it's gotta be like one-sided. I almost get bored in relationships real fast is the energy. So you would expect me to hold to a certain standard, but I can't hold to that standard because I need to get my emotional fulfillment, my serotonin hit, like because I don't feel good about myself most days. I have a root chakra imbalance, and that's so I'm always in the survival mind, and that creates a lot of it works on our adrenals, too much overthinking. So again, this connection triggers this person to overthink, and what do? They do nothing because it's again, I'm tired, I'm lazy, and again it makes them think, and it makes them think about their inadequacy, and then look at you and say, well, I have feelings for you, and I do. So if you would just lower your boundary, it would be great. But you're never going to do that. And they know that you're not going to do that. So, like I said, they feel like, will they return to you? If it's a real soulmate twin flame connection, eventually they will, believe it or not. It doesn't matter how long. Will it be like a connection that you'd want to be in? Possibly not, because like if you're living your life, you're going to meet new people, new situations. This, even though this is a twin flame connection and there's so much passion and love, it's that's there because it's that person holds a mirror of all your wounds, of what needs to be healed, what needs to be, and that parts of yourself that you've rejected. That spirit saying you need to love those aspects of yourself. That's number one. Is it profound? Yeah, it's totally profound where you've influenced this person's life so that they actually have to reflect on themselves and not be so freaking selfish, because that's what you're going to see, that the person is selfish. They think that they can control love. But at the end of the day, they realize that they can't control love. It's just what Spirit's saying is not in the next few months. It's Spirit saying, because I'm working on this person. So does that mean that they won't be running around and they're in their ego still. So which means that they don't feel good. So of course that's what they're going to do, because they're going to go out and get that serotonin hit from having short-term relationships that they get their passion on, and then on to the next. It's empty. You don't want that. And that's really what it is. So you have to say, well, what is the big thing here? Well, a lot of times twin flame connections first start off where spiritual lesson is all about forgiveness, because you always have a runner and you have a chaser. And like meanwhile, the runner is so wrong for what they do in the beginning, but their ego is so big. They're stuck in the chaos of their past relationships that the universe actually has to get involved, because the universe like, oh, here we go again. They're going to do it again. This is lifetime 3,086 million trillion, and here we go again. It's like it's the same thing. This person really thinks that that's their reality, and they don't really know how they're creating it. They don't realize that it's not about being in another relationship. It's about healing yourself. Spirit says that's what this, in the beginning of a twin flame connection, that's what it is. that the person's like is really being initiated to like take the deep dive into self to, and that means they go through a dark night of the soul, they go through all this, and then they go through an awakening. And a lot, it's not voluntary. It's in the back of their mind, they've said, yeah, I would like life to be better. I don't understand why this happens to me. So I don't really believe that it can't, I just believe that it doesn't happen for me that way. So this is the way I have to get love. And the universe is like, no. It's like, because, too much karma now. It's like that the universe has to get involved in this because of all the ancestral karma. The great grandmother lived that way, this one lived that way, that one lived that way. It's again what they've been programmed. It's like programmed through the environment to believe who they are. And the universe is like, that's not who they are. It's like, spirit says, I don't make people like that. That person grew up in an environment that obviously they were told who they are, and they began to live from that level of consciousness. But that's not who they are. So they need to have an ego death because, they wear a lot of masks. They create a lot of facades because, again, they haven't created themselves. And that's what happens when we grow up in a very imbalanced environment where there's not enough money, there's not enough. So now the child's trying to, take care of the parent. They're not creating themselves. And so they adapt to all the same beliefs that the parent has because they've been taught their habits and behaviorisms from their parents. So they can't really fix it. So it's almost like they take that karma on that the universe, like, oh, this is like the 700 generations now of karma. Like we've reached that amount. It's like that. It's a lot. So where the universe says, of course, I have to give support. That's what I do. Father up in heaven gives support. The universe is everywhere. You can is a level of consciousness. You can obtain that consciousness through healing, through love. So we have to say again, why did you attract this person into your life? What's because they're not ready. They're healing, and spirit saying, well, you need to do some of your own healing. And spirit says imparted that is the imprint of growing up in organized chaos. And that organized chaos could be that you grew up in an alcoholic family. Hey, life works, but it was dysfunctional. You were taught that that you had to, there wasn't enough love and support for you either. But that becomes normal. That's what that it's familiar energy. Anchor, again, lack of support. So what you see here is like, again, the father and the child. And so that's really what gives us that anchor is really support within, the family structure. And that when we have that, we're able to go and we feel confident to go and try things. We're encouraged to try things. We're complimented. We're it's just promoted that that's what we do when a parent loves us. They say, go ahead and try it. Like you have nothing to fear. Where if you grew up in a very dysfunctional home and there wasn't enough money or there was it's like, no, we're not going to do that because we can't afford it because you're not perfect at that. So, you're not worth it. Like, again, that's the message. Even if that wasn't meant for it to come across, it was perceived as that. So again, we take on these behaviorisms that were based on these childhood experiences that not all the time was it horrible, but for the child self, it was. And so again, it's just what the consciousness was of shame. And this is a bad energy. Like when we hold on to shame, it's that we think that we're bad. And so then you want to know why you attracted a person that also thinks that they're bad. It's that because for them not to have an identity, it's again that they tried to take on like the fixer, the helper, the doer in the family, but didn't and never got good experiences. So they were shamed. Shame is when we have this energy, it's like we believe that we're not deserving of love. That's what that is. And it's because, well, that's what I grew up with a narcissist parent. I grew up with an alcoholic parent. I grew up with a selfish parent. It's, again, they made me feel like I was not deserving of love. And so we can see why the same energy here. Like goes to like. You're a mirror of what comes into your life, where spirit says, well, if time and attention. So again, no time, no attention. So again, ignored. So then we tend to look for the love outside of ourselves. So maybe that was something that you needed to learn too, that you were like, well, I always tried to connect and give love, but what I always noticed was I gave more than everyone else. So there's this belief that I can't really have unless I give. And so that's love with expectation. And spirit says, that's not me. And you're out of alignment because of how you're viewing yourself, because again, the environment that you grew up in. So again, you're not aware. So let me bring this person into your life, and you're like, this person doesn't really know how to love. Then spirit says, you got the same kettle on your stove. It's like protection, didn't feel safe. Again, if there was no structure, there was no support, and you were shamed, and it was chaotic. Like, hey, life worked, but it was like chaotic. It meant that you always had to be on, like more in a survival mind. Well, then spirit says, that's not my energy. It's, again, I'm in the energy of unconditional love. It's that realizing that as long as you're connected to the earth, and you're connected to the earth through the things that you love and where you're putting your energy and connecting to other people, then it will, again, you begin to find yourself. So again, at this point, so that is what spirit's saying. You can't go back in time. So you have to create your own support because you were still holding on to shame. So maybe again, wanting somebody that doesn't love themselves enough to give you the love, the time and attention that is equivalent to like time to love for you. But instead, because they feel inadequate, they create a lot of chaos where it's familiar energy, but it doesn't make you feel safe. And it's, again, it wasn't support. So again, spirit saying you have to create your own support. And you create your own support and your own protection. Protection isn't about creating protection in your environment. It's about getting strong. It's about getting a stronger connection to spirit, to God, to the universe, to that higher self, because that higher self is going to give you discernment. That higher self is going to make you be able to transcend the limitations of your mind, that you can't control the environment. You can't control whether the weather is going to be bad, whether this person's going to be angry at you, whether this person's spirit says, none of that. It's about the protection that comes from yourself. And spirit says, and that was to create the anchor for yourself, which is support. And that's about not looking for anyone else to give you time and attention, which again is normal when you didn't get it. You're saying, well, I want someone to do it for me. And spirit says, you do it for you. And I promise you, someone's going to come into your life and do it for you. Otherwise, you're going to get somebody that doesn't do anything, that doesn't even know how to do it, because they don't even know how to do it for themselves. Because that's what you're telling me, the universe says. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Oh, you don't want to look at yourself. Okay, I'm going to give you this person. Why doesn't this person do anything? Spirit says, why aren't you doing anything? It's again because you're like, well, I like this person. And spirit says, you're not balanced. You like what that person looks like and what their capabilities are. But they know that they have to step into a better version of themselves. That's the whole thing. And did you awaken that? Yes. However, they're not there yet. And Spirit says, and guess what? You're not there yet either, because you would wind up giving too much of yourself to, again, to create the support in somebody else. Again, well, I'm going to be nice to you and create a nice life, and then we're going to be together. And Spirit says, no, you're going to wind up without anything, because you're doing it with the expectation, and that is not me. Spirit says, I'm unconditional love, that you just do it because you want to, not because you want something in return. And what this person is already showing you is that they weren't capable, even though that there was a connection, because this connection was so deep and so intense. They were like, holy crap, Ola, it can actually happen, but I'm not enough. I'm not who I portray I am. I'm going to date you. You're going to dump me. It's like in a hot minute. It's like, I'm not going to get rejected, because then I just drop dead right here. The ego can't handle that. No, I would melt. I can't. That's not happening. But it's, again, does it make this person work on themselves? Yes. Are they willingly open to working on themselves? No. It's, again, because healing doesn't feel good. That's why. It's like we don't volunteer. The universe tricks us. Says, oh, you want that person, do you? You want that job? Yeah, that job that pays a lot of money. Yeah, I can see you working that job and driving that car. I can see that. Yeah, I can see it. But unless you become this, you're not going to get it. And you're like, I don't know how to do that. Or that terrifies me. Or that can. The Spirit says, it's all the perception that you're seeing it from. Again, there's many different perceptions. But whatever puts you in a place of fear, it's making you feel inadequate. That's not the accurate truth, because I don't make things that are that way. No, 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 I can prove it. And Spirit says, yeah, so did Helen Keller and all the others that said, no, this is true. Look, I got proof. It doesn't work. Spirit says, everybody has purpose. Everybody can fill their own cup up all the way and connect to deep people. No one can stop you from obtaining what is yours. You stop you. This person stopping them. The ego has done it. Are they fully aware? No, they're asleep, Spirit says, because trauma does that. We disassociate. We're no longer present then. And so Spirit says, so I got to wake them up. It's like I got to throw cold water on them every few days. And, so a pain in the ass for me too, because, it's not exactly a process. It's not a fast process. I throw the cold water on them. Then they wind up falling back asleep. I got to come back and throw more cold water on them. And it's, again, it's a slow process. So Spirit's saying, in that time, it's all about you giving yourself the time and attention, because you're not on the right vibration either. And so Spirit says, and that's what soulmate twin flames are about. You're just not there yet, Spirit's saying. But the knowing that this is a deep connection, the knowing that it could be a great connection, but you have free will. And your mind, your ego mind, will some days say you want that person, and sometimes you won't want that person. And Spirit says, you give yourself the time and attention and meet all different people through, again, becoming that support for yourself. Then you're able to make the right decision. Is that, do I still want to be with this person? It's like, because you're not, this is it, this person. And Spirit says, yeah, that's because you didn't create enough of your stuff either. So it's like you're looking in the car window, that mirror, that where the objects look a lot closer than they actually are. It's like it's not there. You can see it, and Spirit's saying, but this is about your time and dating other people too, because they're not ready. And so the Spirit says it's not about you waiting. It's about you understanding why they're the way that they are, why you still have this connection to this person, and what's the whole point. And again, they have you have free will. And so, they're not coming back tomorrow, so Spirit's saying. And so We pulled two more cards and then one more deck. And that's to go deeper into your thing of why. Well, Spirit says, well, in this separation, again, the hearts are starting to align, like it takes time. It's like because the ego, the like the healing. So align, and this person again, like it's where Spirit's saying you align yourself first. And that's by following your passion, doing what you love, align your actions with your heart's true desires. Get in the vibration of unconditional love by doing what you love. So you connect to like minded people that are going to open up your third eye because you're grounded in your body and your solar plexus is gut, intuition, and you're giving and receiving of love. And I love this. Your third eye is like, I could see how that would happen. And then claircognizance, it's only in the now did you get divine guidance. I told you to ask that person or to do this or to jump on that opportunity. As Spirit says, life is always a co-creation process. That's what you're supposed to be doing in separation. Get into the energy of unconditional love. That's what we keep saying, Spirit saying. It's like align your heart because, again, this person will eventually align their hearts again with yours. And if you're creating, you're not saying, well, I'm a little annoyed it took you really too long to come here. And I don't like the way that you handle things. Spirit says everybody has a process. Allow the process. Unconditional love means, again, acceptance, which, again, you both were not taught clearly from shame. So Spirit says it's not going to feel normal. It's going to trigger you. And Spirit says, yeah, but that's part of, again, that like the shadow and why you need to be in separation right now. Spirit's saying, because you shouldn't be saying, well, I don't really like the way that, that you're loving me. I don't really like the way that you did that. You should have came a lot faster. You should have said, should have. And Spirit says, are you holding the score? It's like, because that's not unconditional love. You have to surrender, and that cannot happen until you are fulfilled within your own life. Then you're not expecting anything from this person. That's why you're not on the level of twin flame either, because you're like, again, I don't, they're taking too long. They shouldn't have done all this. And Spirit's saying it's like the whole point is you can't control what you feel. And it's like you can be mad, Spirit's saying, but mad isn't really gonna get you anywhere. It's just gonna, like create aggravation, Spirit says. So it's more about you filling your own cup. And it's all about the grand journey. All experiences, good and bad, shapes your soul's evolution to learn and to grow. And that's that, like, this experience is like, it's not really bad because the person does love, they do want to come back. Yes, the way that they were when you met them in the beginning and all the nonsense. But like I said, if it brings you to doing work on yourself, to become a better version of yourself, to have like a balanced connection that's really is based on unconditional love, because twin flame journey is that. Well, doesn't mean a forever relationship a lot of times, because it's really intense and it's really in passion. And when that connection is together, you're creating, you're doing, you're birthing something. Sometimes it's a baby, but a lot of times it's not. It's actually a business, something that helps you both connect to other people. Why? Because, again, the trust issue is that we're brought up in environments where trust wasn't. And so Spirit's saying it's like it's part of the reconditioning of how you think, but it's not an easy one connection because, again, there's wounding there. It's like that. The twin flame connection just is the fact that I love you so much. I'm so passionate about you. Well, I'm going to look at it from a different way because I really want it to work out, even though I'm not going to act like I want it to work out. I want to rip your head off. But, and it's like, and it's one of those type of relationships. And Spirit says the whole point is that it brings you back to a journey about yourself, to learn how to love yourself, and not just, again, your soul's calling. Again, part of, again, helping you to become the best version of yourself is really so that you can do what you came here to do, Spirit saying. So this person helps you obtain certain like traits and consciousnesses, and to think a certain way and to balance you out, that it helps you like to, again, do what you need to have come here. They're bringing something to the table. That's why that connection is important. But that's why also the relationship's not an easy one. But again, we still do it. We still do it because there's passion and we can't help it. That's the whole point. That's why it's like a lot of times we give the connection like a whirl, but without balance, it can be a very tumultuous type of relationship. All right, and Spirit leaves us off with one more message, and that is, you are light. That's what you are. Spirit said, understand light is God, light is the universe, light is love. So always have hope, no matter the ordeal. Have faith in a better future. Turn the darkness into light, which is again what this connection is doing. It's just you're seeing it in the process, almost like it's not ready yet, almost like when you're baking a cake. The cake is in the oven, you say, I can see it starting to rise, but it's not cooked yet. Well, that's what Spirit's saying it. So that's where you are right now in your process. Open your heart to others and to God, and become spiritually strong. Become spiritually strong by becoming spiritually strong within yourself, and draw the light to you and shine with all your being. So again, Spirit's saying everything is about returning to your and the energy that the universe gave you, which is all about unconditional love, to help you evolve back there. This actually is a positive one because, well, I mean, the person's still kind of being a little bit of a pain in the ass, but they at least know the connection, and that you know the connection. So you're like, this really is an important connection. Once, if this person comes into your life and they like pass their initiation, which, like I said, which I feel like a person has to evolve to a certain point and really do the work. They can't just stay in a place of, I don't really know what I want to do, and think about it somewhat, which is where this person is now. They have to really be like in the place of, I want to do this. I'm ready to step into the better version of myself. And if they don't do it, they'll be replaced. Spirit has no problem bringing someone else in of just the same like type of passion, the same type of, gifts, that they're contributing the same, and that, then that person will actually watch you get replaced, and you would be the one that got away because of a sense of their laziness. So the Spirit says they have a certain amount of time to do it. They don't have all day. And either do you. So understand that, because the universe is always, evolving. We're also supposed to be evolving. So if a person decides to sit there and not really do anything, the universe is not going to really tolerate that for long periods of time. It's like they said, I've seen many people get replaced with their twin flames. Somebody of a better consciousness, where you're like, wow, I really thought this person was a twin flame. Well, the Spirit would say, well, they had the opportunity in this lifetime. I mean, they have a lot of past life memories of things not working out, which I told them while they were in the connection with you. So again, it's going to happen again if they don't fix it. And that's what they know. They're just like, can I do it? Do I want to do it? And that's like, again, do I want to stay selfish? That's what's influencing your energy, really. Do I want to stay selfish and just be in that type of energy? And do I want to stay lazy? It's easy to stay lazy, right? Get what you want, no strings attached. All right. Well, I'm going to leave that there. Anyone have any questions? Hey, Diane and Kim and everyone else that was on. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box, including the word of the video. But also know my life coaching program is open. So if you're someone that's wants to heal the effects of trauma, you feel like you keep reliving the same types of karmic themes, definitely check out the link. All you got to do is fill it out. I also have a subscription, again, for $100 a month on Patreon, where we do a lot of different healing for those people that can't really afford the coaching. I just wanted to put that out there to you. But if for those of you that want to do the one-on-one coaching, it's opened. I don't take a lot of people every time I open this either, because I like to give a lot of time. So just wanted to put that out there to you guys. Also, my website is in there. And if you're someone that wants to learn, I have a lot of free resources on there, a lot of blogs, hundreds of blogs that I've written, and just, videos, like from my TV show. So again, definitely check it out. The link is in the description box. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.